What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Havoc Sports Podcast. I am Colton with my old buddy pal, Harry Johnston.
What's going on, fellas? You know it's a good day today.
No,
you
it's
know
not.
what we're talking about today.
It's not a good day.
And that's going to be my favorite team, the Boston Celtics. When you look at what they've been doing recently without their best players, I think it's the best. I think they've been playing some pretty great basketball. But there's some small improvements that they can make throughout the series that they could clean up. But, Luka doesn't get much help, so.
No. And the one time they have a chance to win, it's Luka that screws them over. Game 1 and 2, pretty self-explanatory. Just a Boston domination. We had talked about our predictions earlier, how hard it was to win in TD Garden.
Right, and we talked about the starting five, too. We saw how big of a difference it was with Boston's starting five.
We had wrote down some key notes. We had said Boston's starting five is going to have to take the lead, and Mavericks bench is going to have to pick it up. We're seeing Boston's starting five do their thing. Mavericks bench is a abandoned city that we are still trying to find. Like Atlantis. It's just gone.
It's bad.
It's gone.
It's bad. Yeah, and the thing is you would think with some of the veterans they have on there, like Tim Hardaway Jr.
I preached Tim Hardaway on here, and he's making me look like an idiot.
Yeah, he has he's struggled. And you got Deontay Exum. He's just not a big playmaker.
No.
For the Mavericks, and then really the only people they have is Derek Lively, and that's really
that's it. That's the only one on the bench that came to play. So like we said, game 1 and 2 pretty self-explanatory, but I really want to take a deep dive into game 3 of the NBA Finals, because this was a back and forth game that was very close. Mavericks up 1 at half. Boston takes a pretty big lead in the third. Luka's getting into foul trouble. Fourth quarter comes around. Luka has 5 fouls. He needs to be playing. And then the decision.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny that Luka fouls out and then calls out the bench and says, "You need to challenge that right now," when it's clearly, and I mean clearly not a charge.
I know he wants to challenge it, but the thing is he should have never put himself in that situation to begin with.
You're the best player on your team.
You're not a great defender.
Yeah.
Why are you even trying?
It's a finals thing. He'll learn. It's something that, that's one thing that Luka does lack is finals experience. So.
And the thing is, if you look at the series of Dallas in the first, second, third round, they're talking about how Luka is the greatest player in the NBA. But when you're in the NBA Finals and there's only 2 teams to watch, that is when your strengths and your weaknesses are put on national television.
Yeah.
And we found out.
Kyrie stepped it up the last game, though. That's something that was kind of encouraging for Kyrie. And they still lost.
That's very discouraging if you're a Mavericks fan. People stepped it up and you still lost. I don't know your bench. I mean, we talked about your bench.
What, you don't like Maxi Kleber? Maxi Kleber's a bucket, dude.
I mean, you're getting points from Kyrie, which is what you desperately needed.
Yep.
We had talked about Kyrie and Luka are going to have to try to keep pace.
What we did talk about was P.J. Washington, and he has been he hasn't been there irrelevant. For shooting.
The bench, Tim Hardaway can't hit a shot. I really thought that Tim Hardaway would step into a major role. You have Kyrie with the experience, but all those bench players don't really have that experience.
Yeah.
And I thought Tim Hardaway, even though he hasn't been to a finals, he would really step into that role and solidify himself as the alpha of the second teams. And I think he's the worst player of both benches.
Yeah, and I think that's something that Dallas is when you go to the finals, you always say, "Oh, we're one player away."
Yeah.
We're one player away. They were one bench player away from being a really good team.
Yeah.
And you look at some of the teams, they usually have one player that can spark off the bench.
Yep.
And I think that's what they're trying to get Derek Lively to do, but
he's not ready yet.
Yeah, he's not ready yet. And I think if you get him one more bench player, they should have kept Grant Williams.
Yeah.
I think. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you look at the Mavericks. Kyrie had 35. I thought Kyrie played a really good game. He was very efficient from the 3-point line. PJ had 13, 3 for 6 from the 3. That's it's not bad for what PJ is. That's kind of where I figured around where he would be, but I thought he would be a lot more vocal and a lot more doing his standing on business with those 13 points, and it's just been kind of like a quiet 13. And then, I mean, Luka had 27, 6, and 6, which is, those look great when I just say 27, 6, and 6. But when I say 1 for 7 from the 3-point line, that sounds horrible. And when I say he fouled out with 4 minutes left in a very close game and he's your best player, that also sounds horrible.
Yeah. When you look at the box score, you're looking at the starting 5 and you're like, not a decent performance from the 2, but not bad. But then you go to the bench.
Yeah.
You go to the bench and you see 5 total points. That's what you see out of 5 total points out of the bench. That's why we freaking lost.
Yeah.
You can only blame Luka so much. Yeah, he had 6 fouls, but if his team could have gave him 15 points total, an extra 10 points, they would have won the game.
Yeah.
And it's like they got to step up. That's at the end of the day, I can't blame it all on Luka. It was a terrible mistake, and he'll learn from it. But that bench needs to do something tonight.
That's what I don't. I mean, there's a lot of slander on Luka, and there should be. For the dumb mistake, but he's also been the Mavericks. I mean, Tim Hardaway's literally going out there and just wasting time. 19 minutes, 3 rebounds.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. And you go on the other side and you have Sam Hauser 9 points. That's all you need. You need one person to have usually around 10 points off your bench.
Yep. And Pritchard had a good game too, huh?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he about as useful as Tim Hardaway. But still, I mean, 9 points, but we had talked about it. Their bench isn't expected to go out and do the damage. It is solely coming from that starting 5.
Right.
That is where the punches are.
Yeah, and it's just not happening for the Mavericks. If they want to win tonight, which is Friday,
I don't think it's going to happen.
They got to have they got to have Derek Lively having 15 points. They got to have somebody off the bench.
Tim Hardaway needs to make one shot.
Yeah.
One.
They just need to make something.
I don't know that they can. Jaylen Brown this year, I see so much Kobe and Dwayne Wade in Jaylen Brown. He has that Mamba mentality of wanting to win in the play style of Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, and he's not all for show either.
No.
Like he doesn't have a signature move. He doesn't have
Jaylen Brown's
nothing.
been phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the stats, 12 for 22. It's not. I mean, that's not bad. It's not
over
crazy.
50%.
2 for 9 from the 3-point line is not great, but the thing is, he's shooting 2 for 9 from the 3, but he is making those impactful, energetic plays, those dunks.
And he's guarding your best player on defense.
I mean, when he dunks that ball over like 3 people, that does so much more for a team's motivation and morale than a 3-pointer does.
Right.
Honestly.
I think I'm glad he's getting the recognition he's getting.
Yeah, I think Jason Tatum definitely had a prove it game.
Yeah, he had 36.
He had 31. It was about time because we were all scratching our heads like, okay, Boston's winning. That's great. Is Jason Tatum on? Like, is he already in Cancun? Like, they know they got it wrapped.
3-point shots, dude. This is what makes me so mad. Like, why are you shooting 13 freaking 3-point shots at a 6'9" power forward?
And I think Jason Tatum's best when he's shooting middies.
Yeah.
That's me. When he's on a drive pull-up.
Post up.
I think he's one of the best. 11 for 26, again, is not, you're shooting under 50%. A lot of that comes from the threes. 4 for 13. I mean, you're jacking up 13.
Yeah, you're jacking them up like you're on the Golden State Warriors.
If this is an efficient team you're playing against, you can't afford to jack up 13 threes a game. I think it is good that they got him scoring. They got him 31. I think that was important. Derek White is playing like he's the defensive player of the year.
Yeah, him and Drew Holiday. Holiday has too.
I think this finals MVP is going to Jaylen Brown. I would have Drew Holiday as my number 2 as it sits right now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Man, Drew Holiday's just been
And this is kind of for the people that said, "Oh, dude, Drew Holiday doesn't even score
Yeah.
on the Celtics. He doesn't do this on the Celtics. He can score if he wants to."
Yeah, and that's kind of a thing I wanted to bring up too, because I saw this on Instagram. It said if Drew Holiday wins another ring, is Drew Holiday in consideration for the Hall of Fame? And I think that the league is a lot softer, and it's a lot easier to get into the Hall of Fame now. But I also don't think that he doesn't deserve recognition, because he gets no recognition, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I mean, you get told, "Oh yeah, he's a pretty good defender."
But he's winning championships.
When somebody, like, I remember when I was living in college over there, I had one of my roommates, and they were like, "Drew Holiday is just a good defensive player. That's it." It's like, dude, you guys don't realize this
so
man,
much.
this dude could put up 15 points a game. You know what I mean?
I mean, everybody was screaming, keep Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart's the guy. Marcus Smart does so much for the team. And Marcus Smart did do a lot for that team. But you see the switch between Marcus Smart and Drew Holiday with a little more defense, but can also score 15 a night. And look where you are. You're here again, but you're dominating.
Yeah, the backcourt's literally dominating.
I don't think he gets enough credit. Drew Holiday is known for that one steal against the Suns. That's all the credit he gets.
Right.
But he does so much more. Like, if you actually watch NBA games and actually watch Drew Holiday, the dude, he can ball. And
he can.
He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, but I think he could definitely make it in there.
I think down the road, with the impact that he's had on his teams, I think he's definitely worth consideration when his career is all said and done. I think he's been phenomenal, and he's honestly with the Bucks, I think he's the reason that they won.
Right.
Like,
and
yeah,
he was
Giannis
decent.
is there and the best, but
he was on the Pelicans before them?
I think so. He was good
He was
too.
good there too, yeah.
But like, people, you notice he's not going to bad teams that want him. It is top contending teams
they know
that
they
are
need
begging to get Drew Holiday on the team.
and they know that how important of having a top-tier defensive guy at that position can be for players like this, Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah, and me and you, before we even started this podcast, how many times have we had talks that, man, the Boston Celtics are one solid point guard away.
Yeah,
They're one point guard away. When they had back, I think we were talking about this back when they had Kemba, because we thought that was it. We were like, they just got Kemba Walker. This is the point guard that they've needed.
Yeah.
And then
Kemba went to Chinese. And
he's playing Taiwan League basketball in the NBA. And then they had Marcus Smart. It was like, they're right there. They're right there.
Yeah.
They made the finals. And it was like, they just need a tiny bit more. But again, at the point guard position.
Right.
They finally get that point guard who gives them a little bit more. Here they are, one game away.
Yeah, and he doesn't, like, you see with Marcus Smart, he tends to shoot a three, play good defense, maybe draw charge.
Yep.
Drew Holiday is more of a playmaking type of person on offense. He will drive the ball down to the lane, kick it out, get the ball rotation going, shoot a bucket. But he's also really effective in just bullying point guards down below. So I think that's definitely what they needed. And I don't know. Kristaps is kind of worrying me the way he's kind of been going now.
He's just waiting on that ring, and he's gonna.
Yeah, and that's what's kind of worrying me
can't
is
stay healthy.
he can't, and
he's
good. We all knew this, and he stayed healthy all year
until it mattered most.
Yeah,
kind of like Tyler Hero. I think if I'm Boston, I am purposely losing tonight, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up in Game 5, because if you won in front of a Boston crowd, that crap would be nuts.
And that's what I was telling my dad was, it would be so lame if they win it tonight, dude, because like, it just almost feels like it's the team celebrating and then nobody around them. It's like a lame. You can literally hear every teammate chattering.
I think, man, if you're the Mavericks, you gotta fight for pride at this point too, because a sweep in the finals is just boring. It is not selling.
And they aren't selling it because Mavericks ball is really, really slow.
Yep.
Like when your point guard, when Luka plays at his pace, it is a slow pace. It's kind of like a Nuggets game.
I really think that this would have been I told you in the predictions, I had Minnesota in the finals, and I thought that game would have been a lot more exciting because Jaylen Brown and Anthony Edwards are like identical.
Right.
Then you have two big defenders. Like, that team is defensively built. You have a really good offense in Boston. You have a decent offense in Minnesota versus a pretty good defense at Boston as well. So I think that matchup head to toe would have been 10 times better.
Right, and I agree. But, it's just the Mavericks.
Luka got rolling.
Yeah.
And he needs to I don't.
He can't really do much.
He's going to score 80.
Yeah.
He's just got to be careful. The stats he had last game were not bad. That's not at all what I'm saying. Luka just needs to be careful. He needs to shut up and play basketball. I like Luka. I think he's a great player. I hate watching him play because he's so slow, and I don't understand how you can't guard it.
Right.
Granted, that's probably why I'm not in the NBA.
Yeah.
But
he's good.
When you're constantly back talking to the referees, you think they're going to give you a call that you want?
No. And that's something you learn in middle school, dude.
Then you put yourself in a horrible situation where that foul could have gone either way. Granted, he still shouldn't have put himself in that situation. So you've been trash talking the refs all night, and then you expect them to side with you. That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So just shut up, play basketball. You don't even have to be a great defender.
Right.
He just needs to
get in
make
his
his
way.
presence. Yes.
Yeah.
Just slow him down.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't need a foul. You don't let him blow by.
I would give a little less effort on offense and give a little more effort on defense. Kind of split it a little more because you do have Kyrie.
Yeah.
So I think if he can figure that out tonight, I do believe the Dallas Mavericks will take tonight.
I'd like to see them
let's go into
too.
that. Yeah, Dallas Mavericks will take Game 4.
They need to attack. Attack. You need to attack Al Horford. You need to attack the rim. You were trying to win. You're trying to pull the Miami. Outside perimeter shots. That might get you one game. But you need to be able to switch it up and give them something different.
And it needs to come from someone different. It needs to come from somebody different than Luka.
Tim Hardaway needs to make something happen tonight. It doesn't. I'm not saying Tim Hardaway's got to go out and give you 20. If Tim Hardaway can give you 8, if Tim Hardaway can give you 10, if somebody else on that bench, say Tim can't do it, if somebody else on that bench outside of Derek Lively, he's been doing his thing off the bench, if someone else can give you 8 or 10, or you're in the NBA.
Right.
You are in the NBA Finals. You are supposed to be some of the best players in the world.
You got to be able to do something.
And you're telling me you get paid millions of dollars to put a ball through a hoop, and you can't put a ball through a hoop against a team?
It's unbelievable. And that's why I said 5 total points for them, dude.
You just got to...
They got to have at least 15, 20 to win tonight.
Like, you're in front of the Mavericks. You have nothing to lose at this point. You're down 3-0. You have nothing to lose, and Boston has everything to lose. And that's when you're supposed to be your most dangerous. And nobody cares because you guys suck. Your bench sucks.
But yeah,
Helen Keller could go in there and at least give you 2.
Yeah.
And she can't even see.
But so you take Mavericks tonight?
I think if they come out with that mentality of we have nothing left to lose and we're just playing for pride at this point, yeah, I think they could take one. I don't think they win the series.
No, I don't either, but I think they could take one.
You can take one.
Yeah.
And you can try to start building off that. But if you come out and play like you have been and Luka just is against the team, is against the refs, is a mess, and then the team's not linked together, like they've forgotten what it's all about. At the end of the day, it's not about your money. It's not about how many points you score. It's about the game. It's about winning as a team, not as Luka. Winning as a team. It's all about the game. And they forgot everything about simple basketball knowledge.
I think it's kind of just a Luka thing. I think Kyrie and them are playing in sync, but
I think it throws everything off. Though.
yeah,
People
when
see
you're
your
the
best
playmaker.
player
Yeah.
yelling at you, throwing a fit, temper tantrum, like that doesn't help. Then you're automatically thinking like, well, if our best player's defeated, so are we.
Right. So
I don't know.
We'll
We'll
let's
see what
talk
they do
about
tonight.
next episode. Do we have any plans yet?
I mean, we could be discussing possibly a little bit of the finals ending. Definitely touch up on the finals as the game's tonight. For those that will see it, it'll technically be the game was tomorrow. Because we record on Friday, it comes out on Saturday. Probably start talking a little bit of. I'm ready to talk about football. I'm ready to talk about what we're seeing from our camps. I know you've probably been seeing some stuff from the Bears camp. I've been seeing stuff from the Patriots camp, and I'm just itching to talk about it. Trying to slow the football pace. I'm sure people have been waiting on football content. We talked about fantasy football, but we're getting close. Season's coming. So football is coming. Just kind of in that state of sports are mixy. So I definitely want to talk and hit on some football. Just for our fans and stuff. Maybe soon. Fantasy football episode didn't go bad. I thought maybe eventually, maybe not next episode, but talk about some sleeper picks.
Yeah, we could do that.
I know we talked about a couple, but there's some really good value picks that are way out there, and I'm ready to talk football. I'm so ready for the football season.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
agree.
a lot of our viewers are. They want to hear football. The problem is there's not a lot going on with football right now.
No, it's just a couple practices every now and then.
And I hate to break it to our football fans, but I'm not watching all 32 teams open practices and scrimmages.
I'm watching the Bears and I'm watching the Colts beat Cheeks.
Yeah,
and the
Colts are
Packers
absolutely
beat Cheek.
terrible.
Yeah, Colts are bad.
Yeah, they always are.
Yeah, but
Anthony Richardson's
that's our plans for next
boss.
episode. Probably talk about touch on the finals and maybe go into some football stuff. And we appreciate your guys' viewings and we appreciate everybody's feedback on things. And
Yep.
we hope to see you next episode. Peace
See
out.
ya.